So for the past few days, we have been in Braj, particularly Gokul, and then we're going to Mathura, following Nanda Maharaj, Krishna's eternal father. So we've been discussing the opulence of Braj. Nanda Maharaj is celebrating the Jatakarma festival. Krishna has appeared. And, of course, Nanda Maharaj doesn't know the secret, which has different levels. That Vasudeva, at night, had brought Krishna from Mathura and then took the daughter that was born to Yashoda. So Nanda Maharaj is, as we would say colloquially, over the moon at having a son. And we'll hear why he feels so extraordinarily blessed. It's by Krishna's arrangement for Krishna's pastimes, his Leela, that Nanda Maharaj had no sons until a very old age. The reason is that the psychology is such, and remember the Brajbasis, although they're eternal associates of Krishna in Brajadam, still they act like human beings, normal human beings, in order to make the pastimes with Krishna sweeter. So, the normal psychology is that if someone doesn't have a child after many, many, many attempts, and they're in their old age, and then a son is born, you cherish that child more than anything, because you went through such decades of ordeal of having no son. Now you, when no one expected it, you have a son. That means such circumstances made Nanda Maharaj love his son even more. Of course, who is appearing as his son. Now the question could be raised, why does Krishna need a father or a mother? He doesn't. And there's certainly, as we explained the other day, there's no question of Krishna being the product of biological conception. No question of that. Krishna is everywhere, and he can manifest, make his presence known and seen according to the devotee's particular type of affection. So some people want to love Krishna as their son, others as their friend, others as their master, others as their lover. Krishna is able to reciprocate all these desires. He's able to act in all these relationships perfectly so that all devotees are satisfied no matter what their loving inclination. So we've been talking about the inconceivable opulence of Nanda Maharaj in a cowherd village. How hard it is to understand how there could be such prosperity just by taking care of cows and growing food. At the end of Bhagavad Gita, 18th chapter, what does Krishna say? Krishi Gorakshavanijam Vaishya Karma Swabhavajam. The duty of the mercantile class, the commercial class, is to protect the land, Krishi Raksha, and protect cows, Go Raksha. So in the Vedic yogic civilization that you read about in Srimad Bhagavatam, only a segment of society is engaged in economic activity. Generating money, generating wealth. Only a small segment of society. Not like today where everyone has to scramble for wealth, for money. So Nanda Maharaj is of the farming or a mercantile sector. And the prosperity we've been discussing, reading Srimad Bhagavatam, is just amazing. You would think maybe it's mythological. Millions of cows given in charity to the brahmanas, 7 mountainous hills of grains covered by cloth, embroidered with gold, with jewels on top. Cows, millions of cows given with silver-plated hooves and gold-plated horns. How is all that possible? But Krishna is the supreme source of all wealth. Krishna has appeared in the village. You shouldn't expect anything less. And Braj is no ordinary place. So we ended up yesterday discussing, or the last time we had our gathering, discussing how there's so much dairy opulence in Nanda Maharaj's town that in celebration of Krishna's appearance, the older cowherd men and older cowherd women were throwing milk and butter and yogurt on each other in celebration. So much so the ground was becoming slippery from milk, yogurt, ghee, butter. And then they took butter and started smearing it on each other's bodies. They're showing this is real wealth. So, of course, we're scratching our heads. Like, how could there be such wealth just from yogurt and milk and butter and ghee? And we gave some statistics the other day. Let's see who knows, any of our wonderful guests who've appeared today. How many, it's a tragic calculation, if you're aware of the number. How many millions of cows are slaughtered every year in the USA? Huh? I'm asking those who weren't here before.
50 million?
No, 33 million only. 33 million, and about 300,000 calves. How many slaughterhouses do you think are in the USA? To have a slaughterhouse, it has to be approved by the federal government, so you can have an accurate idea of how many slaughterhouses there are. In New Zealand, where I'm based, they have a kind of, instead of saying slaughterhouse, you say freezing works, as if the animals love to be frozen. Before they're frozen, of course, they're slaughtered, but they're not, the place is not called the slaughterhouse, it's called freezing works. So, in the USA, there are 1,000 slaughterhouses to kill 36 million cows, 33 million cows, and 125 million pigs. And the most slaughtered creature on the earth planet are the chickens. So Nanda Maharaj's village is showing you the wealth that comes from land protection and cow protection, especially cow protection. How could that be? This is personalism. This is bhakti yoga, showing you how satisfying the personal source of everything, your existence becomes better. When you live on the earth planet according to the instructions of Krishna, because the earth is his energy, the earth provides in a way far beyond what a materialist could expect. Now that may sound a bit strange, but look at what human beings are doing today. They're destroying the earth by extracting so many resources and destroying the earth by processing those resources and disposing of them as waste. The earth can't handle all that extraction, nor can it handle all the disposal of the waste products. So you might, as I often point out, consider that human beings today are flesh-covered devices for extracting and burning fossil fuels. So we're thinking that these accounts of the wealth of Nanda Maharaj's village sounds mythological. Millions of cows given to brahmanas celebrate the appearance of Krishna. But look at things in the reverse way. These members of the Vedic yogic civilization, they could look at what and how human beings are living today and think, impossible, mythological. Who could be so dumb? Just destroy their own habitat, destroy their own bodies. So, mythological is in the eyes of the beholder. So we're at the point where, as we said, the residents of Vrindavan, Nanda Maharaj's group, when we say Vrindavan, we're referring to Braj, the general area, but this is actually Gokul. They're smearing each other's bodies with butter and throwing milk and yogurt at each other. That's part of the celebration. No scarcity. And we've heard descriptions of how they're dressed. Opulent, natural fabrics. The men with fancy turbans and fancy clothes. The ladies laden with jewelry. This should be of no surprise because Krishna has appeared in their village. And very soon, just after Krishna's appearance, comes the supreme goddess of fortune, Srimati Radharani, who is more opulent than the Lakshmi Devis of Vaikuntha and the women of the heavenly planets. No need to talk about those of the earth planet. So all this extraordinary, inconceivable, unlimited prosperity and wealth is appearing. Even more, because this place, the place of Nanda Maharaj, is eternally the home of Krishna. Now Krishna has manifested to the vision of the world, and so the opulence is increasing even more. So we'll read a verse that we concluded with the last time. This is 10th Canto, Chapter 5, Text 18. Tata arabhya nandasya vrajasarva samriddhiman harir nirva satma gunai rama kridam abunirpa. O Maharaj Pritchett, the home of Nanda Maharaj is eternally the abode of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his transcendental qualities, and is therefore always naturally endowed with the opulence of all wealth. Yet, beginning from Lord Krishna's appearance there, it became the place for the pastimes of the goddess of fortune. That's a veiled reference to Srimati Radharani. And Srila Prabhupada explains that in the purport. The abode of Krishna is always served by hundreds and thousands of goddesses of fortune. Wherever Krishna goes, the goddess of fortune naturally resides with him. The chief of the goddesses of fortune is Srimati Radharani. Therefore, Krishna's appearance in the land of Braj indicated that the chief goddess of fortune, Radharani, would also appear there very soon. Nanda Maharaj's abode was already opulent, and since Krishna had appeared, it would be opulent in all respects. So now we're going to go to Mathura, because Nanda Maharaj decides the most strategic thing to do to protect his newborn child Krishna is to placate the evil, monstrous King Kamsa. The word was out that Kamsa had ordered that any child born in the vicinity in the past 10 days should be killed, because he heard somewhere there's this child who's supposed to kill him. There's a prophecy to that extent. So he ordered such an atrocious strategy. Any child born in this area of my rule in the past 10 days should be killed. So obviously Nanda Maharaj knew of that, and so he's thinking, I have to protect my child. He was already giving charity to the Brahmanas. He was worshiping the ancestors. He was worshiping the demigods. Now you might say, those of you who know Bhagavad Gita, doesn't Krishna say in Bhagavad Gita, don't placate the demigods? No need to worship the ancestors. But why is Nanda Maharaj doing all that? Just to secure blessings for his son, Krishna. He's 100% Krishna conscious. And the nature of these inner circle associates of Krishna is that they don't think Krishna is God. They don't think Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We've been discussing this amply. Krishna doesn't want them to think that, because that spoils all the fun. So we've been discussing how you might think it's a great delight to be worshipped all the time and hear prayers and songs of glorification. No, Krishna wants to play with his friends. He likes to steal butter and be chastised by his parents. He likes romance. He likes all that better than listening to official prayers and hymns. So Nanda Maharaj is doing everything to protect his son. This is Vatsalya Prem, pure love of Krishna in the parental mode, in which the devotee thinks, I'm superior to Krishna, superior in that I have to take care of him, otherwise he'll be hungry, he'll be unprotected. So that's the nature of Vatsalya Ras, parental love of Krishna. So Nanda Maharaj is not thinking, my son is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's thinking, my son is my son. I have to adopt strategies to protect him. So I worship the demigods, give in charity to the Brahmanas, worship the ancestors, but this is all 100% Krishna conscious, pure bhakti, because 100% his goal is how to do the best for his son, Krishna. So he's thinking, it's time to go to Mathura to pay my annual taxes to King Kamsa. And how does he pay annual taxes? With milk products. Can you believe saying to the, what do you call it, the IRS? I've got some yogurt. I've got a load of butter. But in a human society, this is considered real wealth. It's hard for us to understand. How do you make money and become so, all right, you might make a pittance, but how do you make a fortune and be so wealthy that you can throw butter around and smear it on people's bodies and soak the ground with yogurt and milk? How do you, and then pay taxes to the king with dairy products? But we don't know what human civilization is. So Nanda Maharaj is loading up ox carts pulled by huge bullocks to carry the products to Mathura. And he's going to supplement that payment with milk products. He's going to payment of milk products. He's going to supplement that with gold coins, cloth, and jewels. How is he so wealthy? So now we're going to go to Mathura from Braj. Shukadev Goswami continued. Thereafter, my dear King Pritchett, O best protector of the Kuru dynasty, Nanda Maharaj appointed the local cowherd men to protect Gokul and then went to Mathura to pay the yearly taxes to King Kamsa. So as we said, Nanda Maharaj is thinking, not only will I pay my annual taxes, but I'll also give some extra just to pacify Kamsa. I don't want him coming near my village. And he's strategizing that whenever something extraordinarily good happens in this world, there are always some impediments along with it. So I've got to be careful. Therefore, let me go to Mathura and give Kamsa, the evil king, extra. Now, this is a change for Nanda Maharaj. Before Krishna appeared as his son, Nanda Maharaj was more carefree, not so concerned with all these strategies for survival. But once Krishna appears as his son, he's in what we call transcendental anxiety. It's not material anxiety. It's just, how to protect Krishna, what to do. He's thinking of that constantly. So it looks like misery to us. We hate being in anxiety. But this kind of anxiety has nothing to do with the modes of material nature, has nothing to do with illusion. This kind of anxiety is dragging him closer to Krishna. How to protect Krishna? What am I going to do? Oh, Kamsa, he's so evil. Oh, let me go to Mathura. Let me bribe him. Let me do something. Krishna. The dangers are pushing him closer to Krishna. Now, bear in mind, in Vrindavan, there's actually no danger. But there seems to be danger by Krishna's arrangement so that the residents of Vrindavan, so that their love for Krishna increases. Because when there's danger, you call out more. Oh, save me, help me. They say that to Krishna, even though they don't think Krishna is God. Krishna is just their everything. This is spontaneous love. It's not calculated. Oh, Krishna has appeared in our village. He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Let us appeal to him to deliver us from any danger. No. Krishna, he's just a wonderful person, a wonderful son. He does amazing things, but he's still our village boy, and we're going to call out to him, Krishna, save us. So in Braj, there's no danger, but there's the semblance of danger for increasing the natural love of Krishna unlimitedly. So Nanda Maharaj is thinking, the greatest thing has happened to me. I have a son, and look at this unlimitedly attractive son I have. I've got to strategize how to protect. Because anytime something good happens, in this world, you can expect some impediments along with it. So he changed his mode. Instead of not worried about possessing wealth, having no fear of Kamsa, now he's in a different mode. All out of love of Krishna. So we spoke about how in parental love of Krishna, Vatsalya Prem, the devotee thinks Krishna is dependent on me for care, for feeding, for protecting, for correcting. And there are particular stimulants of ecstatic love of Krishna in the parental mode. And you can see a reflection of that in this world. When parents have a newborn child, even I, as a sannyasi, I hear about it. I get messages, letters. Oh, Guru Maharaj, I just had the most beautiful, lovely child. Everyone, every new parent thinks, oh, such a beautiful child, such a lovely child. Where does that come from? Did you ever wonder? It comes from the spiritual world. Krishna, his smile, his sweet words as a baby stimulate the ecstatic love of Nanda Maharaj, his father, and Yashoda Mai, his mother, as well as the elder cowherd men and women of Braj. So there are, in every relationship with Krishna, there are particular stimulants that make the love agitated, make it increase. So some of those stimulants for ecstatic love in the parental mode are Krishna's sweet baby words, his sweet baby smile. And then as a child, his simplicity, his shyness, his respect for elders, all these characteristics stimulate ecstatic parental love of Krishna. And those of you who know something about Krishna's pastimes, in which he does inconceivable things, his mother never thinks he's done that. Who held up Govardhan Hill? She thinks, no, actually it was not Krishna. Some or other Nanda Maharaj must have held it. How was Putana Rakshasi, the witch Putana, how was she killed? My child, Krishna didn't do that. It's simply because of the prayers of the brahmanas, the mantras that our village brahmanas chant, that Putana was destroyed. And what about the Yamalarjun trees knocked down by Krishna, dragging a mortar for grinding spices? No, that couldn't have been. What happened was a strong wind blew. And Krishna allows them to think like that because he doesn't want them to be onto his real identity, because that spoils Krishna's fun, and Krishna's the supreme enjoyer. So this is why Nanda Maharaj is thinking, I've got to protect my newborn child. So he's gone. Nanda Maharaj has gone to Mathura. I think some of you, anyone who's been to Mathura and Vrindavan? So you know Mathura is right up the road. But if you're going by ox cart instead of by taxi, it takes a while longer. So, in Mathura is Vasudeva, who actually gave birth. He and his wife, Devaki, gave birth to Krishna. But then Vasudeva, as we know, in the middle of the night, right after the child has appeared, took the child to Braj and exchanged him for Yashoda Mai's daughter in such a way that Yashoda didn't know. Yashoda thought she had a boy child when actually that child was put there by Vasudeva from Mathura, and then he took her daughter to Mathura. So, Vasudeva and Nanda Maharaj are related. They have the same grandfather, but a different grandmother. One's grandmother was a Vaishya, cowherd, agriculturalist. The other was a Kshatriya, Vedic warrior martial class. So Vasudeva and Nanda Maharaj are like cousin brothers. So therefore, when Vasudeva heard that Nanda Maharaj his very dear friend and brother, had come to Mathura and already paid the taxes to Kamsa, Vasudeva went to Nanda Maharaj's camp. Now, was he careful to make sure that Nanda Maharaj already had paid the taxes? Vasudeva is not a cowherd. Vasudeva, he's not a cowherd man. He's a Kshatriya, military administrative type. Knows diplomacy, knows politics, knows how to maneuver. So Vasudeva is thinking, I won't show up in Nanda Maharaj's presence until Nanda Maharaj has paid the taxes to Kamsa and calmed Kamsa down a bit, pacified him. Because Vasudeva has been in prison for a long time. Somehow or other he's out, he's able to come and meet Vasudeva. So now, at the opportune moment, he goes to see Nanda Maharaj. He has two things in mind. He wants to understand, discern, does Nanda Maharaj know the secret that actually Krishna is Vasudeva's son and appeared in Mathura and was carried by Vasudeva in the middle of the night to Braj? Does he know that? Why would Vasudeva be concerned about that? Because he thinks if Nanda Maharaj hasn't caught on, that means Kamsa won't catch on. If the secret of Krishna's appearance is intact, then the child is safe from Kamsa. So everyone is maneuvering like this, all in relation to Krishna. Nanda Maharaj is bringing his taxes plus more to Mathura to pacify Kamsa, so Kamsa won't harass the village and endanger Krishna. And Vasudeva is in Mathura thinking, does Nanda Maharaj know the secret that actually Krishna's my son and I brought him to Braj for safety? If Nanda Maharaj doesn't know, that means no one knows, and my boy is safe. In other words, let my boy think that Nanda Maharaj is his father, even though I'm the real father. Everyone is simply thinking of the safety of Krishna. This is Vatsalya Prem, pure love of Krishna in parental mode. Also, Vasudeva wants news about his son, but he can't say, can you tell me? He can't ask Nanda Maharaj, how's my son? He can't say that. So he's going to inquire in general. How's life in Braj, by the way? How's everything going on there? How did you have a son after so many fruitless years? Of course, Vasudeva knows it's his son. But he wants to maintain the, the subterfuge. He wants to maintain the deception for the safety of Krishna. So everyone's concerned in this parental love of Krishna. Everyone's concerned with how to protect Krishna, when actually Krishna is the supreme protector and parent of everyone. So we already discussed how Nanda Maharaj, yes, he came to Mathura, and Vasudeva made sure to meet up with him after Nanda Maharaj had paid the taxes. Vasudeva was in anxiety about that. I want to make sure the evil king is pacified. So now he is approaching, Vasudeva is approaching the camp of Nanda Maharaj. Nanda Maharaj came to Mathura with some other cowherd men and bullock carts loaded with milk products and cloth and gold coins and jewels. So now, when Nanda Maharaj heard that Vasudeva had come, he was overwhelmed with love and affection, being as pleased as if his body had regained its life. Seeing Vasudeva suddenly present, Nanda Maharaj got up and embraced, Nanda Maharaj got up and embraced Vasudeva with both arms. Now, a technical point about Vedic etiquette. Nanda Maharaj is the elder to Vasudeva, so he didn't offer his pranams, but Vasudeva offered his pranams to Nanda Maharaj, and Nanda Maharaj embraced him in the way of an elder. So these little details may seem to be fuss-budgety, but they're indicative of the extremely refined dealings, cultured dealings in the Bhakti Yoga culture. And that's what Braj is, that's what Mathura is, the perfection of real human dealings and culture. So this is a very dramatic meeting between Vasudeva and Nanda Maharaj. It's overflowing with pure love, because both of them are in a relationship of pure love with Krishna. Vasudeva, as we said, knows the secret. Nanda Maharaj doesn't. Nanda Maharaj thinks Krishna is my son. And also remember, Balaram has just been born a week or so before Krishna, born to Rohini, who is a wife of Vasudeva, that Vasudeva sent to Braj for safekeeping. He sent her for Nanda Maharaj to take care of her because Vasudeva is in prison. So actually Vasudeva has two sons in Braj. But Nanda Maharaj doesn't know that. Nanda Maharaj knows about Balaram being born to Rohini, who is the wife of Vasudeva, there in Braj for safekeeping from Kamsa. But of course, Nanda Maharaj doesn't know that his child Krishna is actually Vasudeva's child. So all this is going on. I know for some of you don't know the pastime, it sounds a bit intricate. So now after a reception and a welcome, that's Vedic culture, there's always a reception and a welcome. Nanda Maharaj arranged for Vasudeva's feet to be washed, even though Vasudeva hadn't come from a long distance. Still, this is all part of culture. If you've ever experienced a long journey and then someone washes your feet, you'll find it very refreshing. You might think, just water on my feet? How does that relieve fatigue? Well, try it, you'll see. So Vasudeva is going to inquire from Nanda Maharaj, and the inquiries are going to be the product of intense love. So that's what I'd like you to focus on. What you're hearing is a conversation between these two cousin brothers. The conversation is saturated with intense love. Here's a deeper point. Vasudeva knows Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, yet there's a mixture. He also thinks Krishna is my son. Nanda Maharaj has no idea that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Vasudeva's parental love is mixed. It's sweetness mixed with opulence, awe and reverence. Whereas Nanda Maharaj's love for Krishna is pure sweetness, uninhibited by knowledge that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That makes things sweeter, more spontaneous. But sometimes Vasudeva acts out of fatherly affection, even though he knows Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sometimes he gets overwhelmed with parental feelings, as he's doing now. because of Nanda Maharaj's association. The Acharyas point out that though Vasudeva thought of Krishna as the Lord, here he shows great affection for Krishna as his son because of Nanda Maharaj's association. It's an advanced point. Nanda Maharaj's pure Braj love, unmixed with any kind of awe and reverence, has affected Vasudeva. Even though Vasudeva generally knows my son is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, sometimes he acts based on that's my son, other times he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The basis of his inquiries that Vasudeva is going to make of Nanda Maharaj, it's all about attachment and pure love. And the responses that Nanda Maharaj gives to the inquiries are all based on attachment and pure love. So Vasudeva says to Nanda Maharaj, "My dear brother Nanda Maharaj, at an advanced age you had no son at all, and were hopeless of having one. Therefore, that you now have a son is a sign of great fortune." This is Vasudeva. Remember, he's administrator, strategic, military. That's his propensity. So he knows how to be diplomatic. He's testing. Do you know that the son is actually mine, and I put him there at night and took your daughter, and so your wife thinks she had a son when actually she had a daughter? He's testing. My dear brother, at such an advanced age, with no son, and having no hope of having one. Now you have a son. What's going on here? So Vasudeva wants to make sure the mystery is not known. Because if the mystery is not known, then Kamsa doesn't know it. If not even the residents of Vrindavan don't know it, then the secret is safe. So we talked about how the delay in Nanda Maharaj having a son made him appreciate his son even more and love his son even more. So the Acharyas explain that in the material world it is seen that when an elderly person without a son, even after many attempts, gives up hope and then suddenly obtains a son, he develops the greatest affection when a son of great qualities is born. So then Vasudeva points out the nature of material existence. He calls it samsara chakra, the wheel of repeated birth and death. He points out that to meet up with your friends and dear relatives in this material world is extremely difficult. So it's only by the greatest fortune that I'm seeing you, Nanda Maharaj. And this opportunity of being with you makes me feel like I have a new life. So even while expressing such emotional bonding, he's giving you some reality of, he's lecturing you, educating us in the realities of material existence. Samsara chakra, the wheel of repeated birth and death, the wheel of samsara. The way this world is, the way this wheel, this samsara chakra is that separation from those you love is a normal thing. So we're thinking about this, even as this knowledge is coming to us in the form of an ordinary greeting. Everything is so packed with knowledge and culture and feeling in Srimad Bhagavatam. Every word is packed with Krishna praying, love of Krishna, and gradually you become aware of that. So Vasudeva he's been in prison for many years. He's had so many of his children killed by Kamsa. He hasn't seen his cousin brother Nanda Maharaj for so long. So Vasudeva is explaining, it's such a great fortune I can finally see you, especially the way this world is, this world of samsara, repeated birth and death. You don't get to meet up with your relatives, your dear relatives and dear friends often. So he'll comment more about that. He says, many planks and sticks, unable to stay together, are carried away by the force of a river's waves. Similarly, although we are intimately related with friends and family members, we are unable to stay together because of our varied past deeds and the waves of time. So here we're being taught by Vasudeva's statement to Nanda Maharaj that in spite of our efforts to be together with friends and loved ones, each friend, each loved one, each relative has their individual karma that's propelling them, pressuring them. So we want everyone to be together, but everyone has their own individual karma that's pushing them in a unique way. So the example is very beautiful. Many planks and sticks, unable to stay together, are carried away by the force of a river's waves. So similarly, we're carried away individually by the force of our individual karma. So like planks and sticks floating on top of the waves of a river, people come together and then, although they don't want it, they're separated. So this makes us think, what are we to do with our individual life in terms of our responsibility to deal with that? Our individual responsibility to deal with our individual pressure of karma. Because we have a tendency to think, my friends, my group, my family, my nation, my people, but all those entities, all those conglomerations, each component has its own pressure of karma. Whether in a relationship between two persons, whether in a family with children, whether in a nation, whether humanity, you're dealing with individuals with their own individualized karma that brings them together and separates them beyond our desires. Next, Vasudeva asked Nanda Maharaj, how are the cows doing? Is the forest favorable for the cows? I hope there's no disease or inconvenience for the cows. I hope where the cows are, there's plenty of water and grass. So why Nanda Maharaj has just been, Vasudeva's just been lamenting about the force of karma, and now he's asking about cows? But Vasudeva knows the pulse of a real economy. And he knows Nanda Maharaj is a cowherd man. So in the Vedic system of Varnashrama, when persons are classified according to their occupational propensity, Brahmana is intellectual, Kshatriya is a manager, martial class, the Vaishya is the productive class, taking care of cows and the land, trading food, trading natural resources, and then there are the laborers. So you greet someone of a particular occupation in the appropriate way. So Nanda Maharaj is a cowherd man. So Vasudeva is saying, how's the land? How are the cows? Everything is very cultured and precise. You just don't walk, of course we would do that. We'd just walk up to someone, how you doing? What's going on? These highly cultured dealings sound very exotic to us, but Vasudeva is very precise. Nanda Maharaj is a cowherd man. How's the grass? How's the water supply for the cows? That's the way you say, how are you doing, to a Vaishya, to a member of the agricultural and mercantile occupation. What about a Brahmana, the spiritual intellectuals? How are they greeted? Are you in control of your mind and senses? Are you peaceful? That's how you greet a Brahmana. And how do you greet a Kshatriya, a member of the Vedic martial and administrative class? Is everything under control? Are the people protected? Everything is in order? No chaos? So in this way, a real human society is so refined in its dealings. It'd be nice for us to hear the purport to this verse. For human happiness, one must care for the animals, especially the cows. In case you don't know, those who just arrived, we have 90 cows here. For human happiness, one must care for the animals, especially the cows. Vasudeva therefore inquired whether there was a good arrangement for the animals where Nanda Maharaj lived. For the proper pursuit of human happiness, there must be arrangements for the protection of cows. This means that there must be forests and adequate pasturing grounds full of grass and water. If the animals are happy, there will be ample supply of milk from which human beings will benefit by deriving many milk products with which to live happily. As enjoined in Bhagavad Gita, Krishi Gorakshavani Jam Vaishya Karma Swabhava Jam. Without giving proper facilities to the animals, how can human society be happy? We'll show them that's wrong. We can be happy. Who cares what happens to the animals? That's so-called civilization today. Without giving proper facilities to the animals, how can human society be happy? That people are raising cattle to send to the slaughterhouse is a great sin. By this demoniac enterprise, people are ruining their chance for a truly human life. Because they are not giving any importance to the instructions of Krishna, the advancement of their so-called civilization resembles the crazy efforts of men in a lunatic asylum. What do you think? Sounds too much, huh? Our society today is a lunatic asylum. But if you look at the environmental situation, if you look at the political situation, the economic situation, you see madness. It's like, which crisis is going to get you? The nuclear weapons, the wild weather, social chaos, economic deprivation? Which one or two is going to get you? So the new terminology to refer to all these crises is called the polycrisis. Multiple crises all intersecting at the same time. So we were discussing the other day, the biggest survey ever done in the world of Generation Z. I was about to say Z, but Generation Z. Done in 10 countries. Stanford University, as well as the University of Bath in the UK, jointly did this survey of persons between, young people between the ages of 15 and 30. USA, Canada, UK, Germany, India, France, Australia, biggest survey ever done. The results are staggering. 75% of young people in that age, between 15 and 30, are in anxiety about the future. They're troubled by the future. 53% think humanity is doomed. 33% say they're not going to have children because who wants to bring into the world, in such a crazy world, who wants to have children? What kind of so-called civilization is this that produces such anxiety, such fear? This is a lunatic asylum. How do you destroy your own habitat, destroy the very planet that whose abundance you need for maintaining your life? So we've been discussing the illusion of economic growth. The growth of the economy has to continue to grow and grow and grow. The more money there is, the better it is for everyone. But the earth can't handle this type of economic growth. And it can't handle the disposal of all the waste. So we have a tragedy. So it's not too strong to call it a lunatic asylum. So now, Vasudeva refers to Balaram. My son Baladev is being raised by you, Nanda Maharaj, and your wife, Yashoda Devi. My son considers you his real mother and father. He's not talking about Krishna, he's talking about Balaram. Remember, Balaram is the Vasudeva's son to his wife Rohini, and she's in Vrindavan hiding out. Vasudeva sent her to Vrindavan to be safe from Kamsa, and she gave birth there to Vasudeva's son Baladev. So is Baladev living very peacefully in your home? In other words, I know that I'm the biological father of Baladev, but you, Nanda Maharaj, are actually raising him with affection, which is more important than a biological claim to be the father. You are giving my son affection, so actually you're the real father. And now Vasudeva is going to lament. I can't follow the Trivargas, the three paths of Dharma, living a religious life, Artha, proper, sane economic development, and Kama, appropriate sense gratification. I can't do that because I failed to take care of my family. My friends, my relatives are all in distress. Therefore, my Dharma, my Artha, my Kama can't offer me any happiness. My religious practices, my economic affairs, my sense gratification affairs can't give me any happiness because I have failed in properly taking care of my friends and relatives. So now Nanda Maharaj is going to reply. Yes, it's true. King Kamsa killed so many of your children. And your one daughter entered the heavenly planets. That's actually Yashoda's daughter. But Vasudeva had taken her from Vrindavan in the middle of the night to Mathura. And then it was announced that she is the daughter of Devaki. It's a whole switcheroo going on. So Kamsa hears that the 8th child has been born, destined to kill him. So he comes rushing into the maternity room, ready to kill the 8th child. Of course, the Krishna he's looking for has been carried to Braj by Vasudeva. And Vasudeva brought back Yashoda's daughter. Even though it's Yashoda's daughter, Devaki acts like it's hers. And she begs Kamsa, please don't kill my child. Don't kill my child. But Kamsa grabs the newborn baby girl by the legs to smash her head against the wall. And she slips out of his grip and flies up into the air because she's Durga Devi. So Nanda Maharaj doesn't know that's his daughter. So he's saying to Vasudeva, so many children of yours died, and the last one, the daughter, just flew up into the air, I've heard, and went to the heavenly planets. So Vasudeva is very happy to hear this because he knows the secret is safe. Vasudeva's lamenting. He's asking pointed questions. His only concern is, my child Krishna, is he safe? But I can't reveal to Nanda Maharaj that it's my child. And Nanda Maharaj is consoling Vasudeva. Yes, you've lost so many children, slaughtered by the king, and the daughter you had went to the heavenly planets, and you're left with nothing. And Nanda Maharaj speaks about destiny. Everyone is controlled by destiny. That's the force of our individual karma. Destiny is the ultimate controller of everyone. One who knows this is never bewildered. This sounds like too strong medicine. Vasudeva is saying, Nanda Maharaj is saying, Vasudeva, don't be unhappy that so many of your children have been killed by Kamsa, or that the last child, the daughter, has gone to the heavenly planets. Fate is supreme. It takes away children, and fate also gives children. There's no one in the world equal to the person who knows that fate is the cause of happiness and distress. Fate meaning karma. Therefore, you should not be in confusion. You should not be so depressed about this. Because of fate, there is death. Because of fate, your many sons have died. So someone would say, well, is it then better not to be born? Since because of fate, we all have to die, better not to be born in the first place. But fate also causes you to take birth. What are you going to do? You're trapped. As Krishna explains in the 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, for one who has taken birth, death is certain, and for one who has died, birth is certain. But Vasudeva and Nanda Maharaj are eternally liberated souls, part of Krishna's eternal entourage. Why are they talking like this? They're beyond fate. They have no karma, but this is all part of their human-like pastimes. So now, Vasudeva is going to, with his martial administrative vision, give a warning to Nanda Maharaj. My dear brother, Since you have paid the annual taxes to Kamsa, and you've also seen me, do not stay in this place much longer. It's better now to return to Gokul. I know there will be some disturbances there. So Vasudeva is now overjoyed, knowing from Nanda Maharaj's own words that no one knows the secret of the exchange of the children. That means Krishna is safe from Kamsa. Now Vasudeva is advising Nanda Maharaj, time to get going, back to Gokul. Everyone knows you're a very wealthy person because of taking care of cows. Kamsa is very evil and greedy. If you stick around here in Mathura too long, Kamsa may try to do something dastardly to you. So better you decamp straight away and go back to Braj. So this is Vasudeva with his military intelligence advising Nanda Maharaj, who's a cowherd man, of the proper strategy. He's instilling fear in Nanda Maharaj so that Nanda Maharaj will return to Gokul as soon as possible. So again, Vasudeva is overjoyed. No one knows the secret about the exchange of the children. His inquiries were successful. He was probing, remember, to make sure. Nanda Maharaj doesn't know, that means no one knows that Krishna is actually my son. Krishna is safe in Gokul. We discussed how actually there's no danger in Braj, but this is all an arrangement to produce more love for Krishna. So what is Nanda Maharaj going to do? Traveling back to Vrindavan, particularly Gokul, from Mathura. He's going to be praying the whole journey. Who is he praying to? He's praying to his family deity. Who's his family deity? Who knows? Yes? No. Lord Sringadeva is not in Braj. Yes, Narayan or Vishnu. He's praying to his home deity, Vishnu, or Narayan, for the protection of Krishna, who is the source of Vishnu and Narayan. So all the way back to Vrindavan from Mathura, Nanda Maharaj is praying to Vishnu, please protect my son. Vasudeva is very strategic. He's a military administrative man. He must know something is going to happen. Oh, Vishnu, please protect Krishna. This is the sweetness of Braj Leela, that these are eternal associates of Krishna. And by Krishna's Yogamaya energy, his pastime energy, they don't see that he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All right, any questions? Yes, Yasmin.
Hare Krishna, thank you for the wonderful reading class. I've heard Durga Devi multiple times, but I have absolutely no clue. Who is Durga Devi and how is she related to Krishna?
She's the personification of Krishna's external energy of illusion.
Is that not Maya?
That's Maya.
Okay.
You got it.
Thank you.
What's been harassing us for many lifetimes, filling our mind with false dreams of material happiness. That's Durga Devi, Maya. Maya means that which is not. It looks like it's substantial, it looks like it's satisfying, but it is not. So we are trying to get out from under the influence of Durga Devi. Whereas a demoniac person like Kamsa is in awe and reverence when he sees Durga Devi fly up in the air. Oh, this is the child that Devaki had? Durga Devi? Oh, how wonderful. And she's chastising him. You fool! The child you're trying to kill's been born somewhere else. But he's just overwhelmed by Durga Devi, fulfiller of all my material desires. The very name Durga, you break it down. Dur means difficult, Ga means progress. Her very name lets you know you're going to have a tough time with me. You're trying for material happiness, trying for material enjoyment. The going is going to be very difficult. Even if you think you've got it, you're going to lose it. That's the doing of Durga Devi. Those who pursue her, she tortures them. And you can see the Durga Devi influence in the world today by pursuing materialistic economic growth. The world's being destroyed. That's what Durga Devi does. She seems to offer you material fulfillment. I like this example of the doings of Durga Devi given by our Srila Prabhupada. He said she's like a mother who says to her infant, come put your head on my lap and go to sleep. And as soon as the infant goes to sleep, she cuts the head off. That's Durga Devi. Come, fulfill your desires. Come, be happy. And then you trust, you endeavor, and then off goes your head. And then what does she say to you? I don't know what happened. Try it again. It'll be better this time. Life after life, birth after birth, this is what goes on. Yes.
Thank you so much for wonderful class. Thank you so much, Maharaj, for wonderful class. You mentioned that every word of Bhagavatam is filled with so much love for Krishna.
Yes.
Can you elaborate more on how can we get what will be proper method of getting emotional satisfaction from Vedic scriptures?
Sanatana Goswami explains in Krishna Lila Stava, 5 verses glorifying Srimad Bhagavatam and our relationship with Srimad Bhagavatam. He says, Srimad Bhagavatam, it's my companion, my friend, my sustenance. It's very intensely personal. Because Srimad Bhagavatam is the literary incarnation of Krishna. Gradually, as you read Srimad Bhagavatam and engage in bhakti, your relationship with Srimad Bhagavatam unfolds, becomes sweeter and sweeter. So reading Srimad Bhagavatam is an essential part of Bhakti Yoga. By hearing about Krishna's pastimes, you associate with Krishna. Just like by hearing the Hare Krishna mantra, you associate with Krishna. Yes.
How many people live in Vrindavan at the time?
How many people? You want a population count?
Just like if there are like 20 million cows to be donated, how many people are there?
Countless cowherd boys, countless gopis. Krishna can fit 16,000 gopis on the bank of the Yamuna and dance with them. So your question should be, why only 16,000? Everything he does he's unlimited. Everything about him is unlimited. Why did he stop at 16,000 gopis on the bank of the Yamuna? No one can party like Krishna.
I just would like to ask a basic question. When Nanda Maharaj, he advising to Vasudeva that because of his karma or destiny, he shouldn't be upset with what's going on. But how practically this knowledge impact my emotions, whether I know this is my karma or not, what happening will cause some
Of course,
suffering.
yes. Vasudeva admitted that I can't properly execute my religious principles, my economic affairs, my family enjoyment. I can't execute all that. Because I couldn't take care of my friends and relatives. So Nanda Maharaj is telling him, this is destiny. So yes, we know this. At the same time, we have feelings. We are spirit souls having a human experience, not human beings having a spiritual experience. So we have a human side. You see that in Bhagavad Gita in the first chapter. Arjuna is having a breakdown. So just one doesn't cancel the other out. The emotional reaction and the scientific reaction. They both coexist. Okay?
But then how this knowledge help me?
How does what?
This knowledge helps me. Why he is trying to console his brother by these words?
The words are consoling because they're spoken with the deepest affection, more than we can conceive of. This is an exchange of love. But you're thinking, how can it be an exchange of love when someone tells me it's just your karma? But you forgot already the whole culture of their meeting and how they interacted with each other. Anything else? Yes.
Thank you so much, Maharaj, for such a wonderful class. My question is for someone who loves chanting and loves devotees and is learning the philosophy of bhakti, but doesn't yet know the pastimes, the stories of Krishna, and Krishna is kind of more of a concept than a relationship, a deep relationship. What would be your advice for how to really understand Krishna, learn about Krishna's pastimes, and begin to develop a personal loving relationship with him?
That's the whole process of bhakti, beginning with chanting the Maha Mantra as a group practice and an individual practice, associating with those who want to get to know Krishna better. That's the whole culture, art, science, and culture of bhakti yoga. Start somewhere. All right, last question. Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna to you.
Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Thank you to you.
You spoke about developing transcendental anxiety for Krishna.
Ah.
Can you please speak or elaborate more? Will you please elaborate on our emotions and how we experience transcendental emotions?
Do something for Krishna and be concerned that the outcome is for Krishna's pleasure. And you'll feel transcendental anxiety. Oh, I have to do this so wonderfully because it's for Krishna. And you're trying to be spiritual in the material world, so there'll always be some impediment. That's what Nanda Maharaj knew. I've just had the most beautiful son. The greatest thing has happened to me, but I know the way this world is. Whenever there's some great fortune, there are always some impediments that come along with it. So how to be spiritual in the material world. That's like how to be submerged in the ocean and not get wet. Or like Jesus Christ is said to have said in the Bible, you have to be in the world but not of the world. That's mystic yoga. And bhakti is mystical in that way. You can be in the material world but not be part of the material world. So this is applied spiritual technology. It's an art, it's a science, it's a culture. How to be spiritual within the material world. Because actually both energies, the spiritual and the material, come from Krishna. So who can teach you better than Krishna how to be spiritual in the material world? Because both the material and the spiritual are his energies.
Well, how do we know if it's Krishna or Durga?
That's why we need a guide and we need knowledge. Very good question. We could just say everything is for Krishna. Just like I often give this example. Suppose I wanted to please you. So I find out where you live and I come and I think, I know what will make her so happy. I'll paint the sidewalk in front of her apartment or house, I'll paint it purple. Oh, listen, it's all for her. What would you say?
I'd be pleased.
She might like it.
I don't know about the neighbors, but maybe we do a rainbow.
No, but I chose purple and it's for you.
Okay. Well, maybe if you knew that I liked purple.
In other words, if I'm doing something for you, I should make sure it's what you want and what pleases you.
Yes.
So that's why Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, if you want to know the truth about me, how to please me, then you need a guru. A guru is one who knows what pleases Krishna. And Krishna says what pleases him in Bhagavad Gita. So rather than my speculating, she loves purple on the sidewalk in front of her house, I should ask or find someone who knows you. Anyone here knows you?
Yes.
You know her?
She loves me.
Does she like purple? Krishna is a person. He says the same thing. Find someone who knows me, knows what I want, and ask them.
That's right. He explains in the Gita very nicely who is dear to him and what he
Yes.
likes and what his opinion is. Very nicely. Thank you.
So you answered your own question.
Identify Durga and Krishna as we go about our lives and not fool ourselves in thinking that Durga is Krishna.
I already explained what her name means.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.